And we're live.
What is going on today, guys? It is the Black Lantern Brooklyn Vale, joining us on a somewhat impromptu Friday night. Originally, there was not going to be a late night with Take Three, as we are kind of gearing up for the big charity event this weekend. But we thought, why not? It would be a great time to talk about it, as well as the great week that was World Night Movie Games. Talk about movie news, and as you can probably guess in our thumbnail, we're going to talk about Pokemon. With the reveal of Pokemon Go Pikachu and Pokemon Go Eevee. But before we get into any of that, I have to introduce our very diverse panel today, reaching all necks of the woods. I have to go to my fellow Canadian. She is Harley Quinn, Harley Borch. Harley, how are we doing tonight?
Pretty good, pretty good. It's a good Friday night. Nice cool out here. Ontario sucks because of what happened last night, but
I heard about that, and I feel sorry for you. It is the equivalent of the person down south. It was cool down here as well, but there was a fuck ton of rain. I'm gonna go next. I guess the person closest to me next would be the Grand Admiral Case Cornelis. Case, how are you doing?
I'm back on Take Three, bitches.
Let's go.
For the first time in months, this has been a while, but it's fun to be back with you guys, and we're gonna probably have some fun tonight.
Sweet. And last but definitely not least, he is our producer, the man behind the scenes. He is our resident Take Three kid, Malcolm Goldie-Lay. Malcolm, how are we doing?
Pretty good. Just ready to talk about lots and lots of trailers.
Alrighty. So let's get right into it. Actually, before we get into the trailers, we're going to be talking about A Week in the World, which essentially we're going to cover everything that's part of World of Movie Games. We're going to delve into Jukebox, although we're not officially a partner, or officially we're not on the channel. We are in a tight association, as referred to by many people. But let's get right into it. Started off with a great singles match to kick off the regular season, and what on paper seemed super one-sided, but ended up being a surprise, almost like Smarticus Royal Flush levels of upset, where Subrath defeated Andrew. Case, you were not. I'm trying to. Yeah, you were.
This.
You were there. I wasn't sure if it was you. Wasn't sure if it was you or Jeremy. But being there on the hosting chair, how did you feel about the match itself, and surprised by the victor at all?
Not necessarily. I was really not sure what Andrew could do in terms of movie trivia, but I do think that everyone really undersold Subrath in that match. Subrath he has some knowledge. I mean, he's not the best at movie trivia, but he's also definitely not the worst, and he showed it in this. I mean, he had a decent run in the team tournament. I mean, he won the first match against poor Malcolm here, which is still a surprise to everyone. So he's been known to have these weird upset matches where he can pull out a win. And I mean, Andrew was a little bit unlucky with his strength category. He got a couple of questions that really threw him off. Were not for him. Were not what he was expecting in that. Then again, like then you come into round 3 where. Yeah, just because of the fact that Subrath is ahead, Andrew has to try and answer his 3 IMDb movies and failed to do so. But the question is, if Subrath had gotten his IMDb movies, would he have been able to answer them? Because I think that if Andrew had just hit one of them, then he might have very easily won it because Subrath wouldn't be able to answer his. So it's not necessarily that it's like that one-sided towards Subrath, but everyone was expecting Andrew to win this one. It was really funny that I saw the poll after we taped it, and I was like, okay, everyone's wrong.
Yeah, I'm going to go to Malcolm next. Malcolm, as being a fellow or a former faction member of Andrew with the Hateful Greats, do you think that was his best foot forward, or do you think it was just kind of a tough break in IMDb?
Yeah, like I know Andrew really well, and I know he's really good. Like as Case said, I faced Subrath in my first match way back in the day, and yeah, so Subath, like sometimes you don't know what Subath knows and what he doesn't, but it was still a great match all the same. Like it was just a tough break in IMDb for Andrew, and I think if he'd gone some different ones or Subath picked different numbers, it could have gone another way.
Yeah. As somebody myself who has yet to correctly answer an IMDb question on YouTube, I have answered many correctly in testing, and then after the match, just see how he would have done. But yeah, I clearly understand. Just sometimes it's the heat of the moment, the little bit that gets you. Harley, nope, you have not seen this match, so we are not going.
I have not seen it, but as someone who, well, I've been scheduled to face Subrath, and I do have technically a forfeit victory over him. But someone with a team match coming up against Andrew, I will be watching this. It's just unfortunately it has been a busy week for me. But both these two are both even. I would say they're both evenly matched. So I'm definitely looking forward to watching it. Probably as soon as I'm done on here. Just like that's one of the last matches that I've got to watch.
Yeah. So that match dropped on Tuesday, correct?
Sunday.
Sunday? Okay. Sunday.
Sundays and Thursdays is
Sundays and Thursdays? Perfect. I wasn't sure what I wasn't sure. I knew Thursday was a team match. I kind of forgot what the singles one was. But yeah, Thursday we go into one of the more anticipated team matches. Like even like of the tournament ones, this is super anticipated. But I mean, I think props to Chris Clark and Evan DeGraff, who were able to really promote the ever living bejeebas out of this one. Just trash talking left, right, and center. But then kind of the unsung hero of the game, Abe, really kind of lit fire with scores and soundtracks. I mean, like you look at the last question that he got in round two, spitting out the answer before they even finished the question. I'll go to Harley first. Your thoughts on is very prominent in trash talking and just having that character be such a essential part of your game. What did you think?
Yeah. Maybe you weren't expecting the game to be too knowledgeable, but you knew one thing going in before the match started. One thing, it was going to be entertaining and very talked about. And of course, all four competitors would not be able to just be quiet at all for 2 seconds, which made the match that much more entertaining and fun to watch. But yeah, no, highly, highly impressive. Like Pat Campbell and Chris Clark, like they did fairly well for themselves. But of course, Evan and Abe, like they just killed it, like absolutely killed it. And of course, funny as all hell. Like I just can't stop laughing after watching that match. And also Chris Clark, this is why you don't attack someone that's more talented than you when it comes to Evan. Now it's time to leave Evan alone. You know, it's probably past his time, but that few more matches between these four competitors.
All right, over to Malcolm next. The question I have for you, Malcolm, although World of Pain did get the win by 1 point, I guess the thing that I was kind of that I was kind of like confused at was that Pattern of Hell handed off scores and soundtracks, and I mean scores and soundtracks has to be a huge strength for Chris. Do you think if they keep scores and soundtracks, do they win even with that kind of that 1 point margin?
Yeah, I mean, with the questions that was asked in scores and soundtracks, I don't know if it would have been worked in Pat out of Hell's favour as well, because some of those I didn't know, because I know Chris is really good at the soundtracks part, but when it comes to scores, I'm not sure on how knowledgeable his scores. I know certain scores he is, but like you never know what can come up as I've been tripped up by scores and soundtracks myself. So
yeah, for sure. I feel like scores and soundtracks is really kind of hit or miss. It's like, especially if it's a lot of movies that you've seen, for sure, and just kind of common artists and whatnot. Kays, actually, I want to go to you next. Round 3, Pound of the Hell hits a binker of a 5-pointer, one that I found was super tough, but I mean they're able to get it. They nailed it down to Chronicles of Narnia pretty quickly. But then you go over to World of Pain, and they get their director and their plot keywords, and they're initially on Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
No, that's Evan.
Yeah, okay. And then Abe has a never-ending story. Like, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts there, as somebody who probably had some form of writing the question?
No,
do you think?
No, I didn't write any of these questions, and actually, this was a match that I was very much like you guys. I only found out the score when the match was shot, and then I kept waiting for the video until I had to put questions into the video, like in terms of editing. So I only saw how the match went down the day before it dropped. I didn't know any of it because I wasn't there for shooting. And this match was entertaining as hell. And with round 3, it was very like, Evan is really not good with movie release dates, and he is. And therefore he's not that good with the IMDb round. And like, if he says Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, then you just know, okay, it's definitely not Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, so what is it? And then Abe was thinking, oh wait, it might be The Never-Ending Story, because that's the same year, and he actually got that one. So good pull. And Abe had some really crazy good pulls, like in scores and soundtracks. I didn't know he was nobody knew he was that good. No. That was the reason that A Pat Out of Hell handed that off to them. And yes, it is a bit weird that they handed off scores and soundtracks, if you consider that Chris Clark has a podcast named Suddenly Soundtracks. But as you say it, he's good with soundtracks, and if you're honest, Clark is not the best at trivia. So in that case, they just don't want to gamble on a category that Chris is only really good at. Patrick is not, and that's why they handed it off, I think. Had they kept it, I don't think they would have won either way. So I think it might have been a smart move, but well, they just didn't know that Abe was that good.
Charlie.
I just want to say, like, if it comes down to, I think that they probably should have kept it, because like they probably would have done better than they did with Disney
Animals,
Disney animated animal or Disney animals. So I just think they may have done a bit better if they had kept it instead of getting Disney animals. I just wanted to throw that out there.
For sure. That Disney animals question, that definitely sounds like a category that is all Jeremy. It seems
I like it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it was good. It's something you never really think about, because like animals are pretty well abundant throughout all the Disney films. Mm-hmm. So that covers their open trivia. We're gonna move into to Full Metal. Now this week they recorded, I guess, the Full Metal Season 7 match, but what was officially uploaded on World of Movie Games was Full Metal Match Season 6, or Full Metal Match Season 2 Episode 6. Which happened technically 2 weeks ago when it just got uploaded on Monday. So that had Dominic Rizzi, somebody who just kind of hopped into the scene a couple weeks ago, defeating the likes of Henry Sanchez, Dan Skip Allen, Subrath, Jan Engelman, I'm probably butchering that last name, and
Engelman,
and Andrew Hayes. Definitely no slouches within the league. But Dominic has like I like his personality. He reminds me of a buddy that I had from college. That's just very, very vocal and very prominent. And I feel like he will do well in the league. Harley, I want to go to you first. Your thoughts on the match?
Oh yeah. Unfortunately, the match happened. Wait, no. I know I was actually there. I was thinking of the other match. Well, in all honesty, like it proves one thing: just because you're new doesn't mean you don't have a chance. In our last two regular matches, we had Jonathan Peck win, and then last week we had Dominic Rizzi win. Just like the game when it comes to Full Metal, it's completely opened up. Anyone can win. And be like he defeat like look at the once again look at the people he defeated: Jan, Subrath, Andrew, Dan Skip Allen, and of course Henry. Like he's going to be a force to be reckoned with, and I'm very excited to see where he goes from here. And of course, he the first person to be entered into the Full Metal Winners Challenge match to take on the Paul Yama, who won the first round of it, especially defeating Jessica Morgan in the finals to become the new Challenge Zone winner. So
I
I'm
mean,
really excited to see where we go from there.
I mean, anybody who's able to defeat Jessica is good in my books. Malcolm, your thoughts on the match?
Yeah, I mean, as Harley said, like if you look in the match, like even there, you had Henry who was in the first winners challenge, I believe. So I mean,
Yeah, he was.
and so I mean, the fact that he did that is impressive. All the same, it's like he really did well. I mean, I'd only sort of heard of him a couple of times before that from various other things. So, but yeah, he really sort of steamrolled through that competition there.
Yeah, for sure. In case you haven't seen this one, correct?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm a little too busy with other stuff going on that I can't be caught up with both Full Metal and Movie Battleground. I apologize to anyone, but yeah, I just don't have time for it. Sorry.
Understandable. So now we will go into the next match that happened this week. There will be the great jukebox match of Sandy the Sandman Robinson taking on notorious Russell Howell, and what was a very, very close match. To kind of give a brief description, essentially, I think Sandy just got bad luck with questions. I mean, right out of the gate, he got a medal question. So I'm very surprised that he missed the Black Sabbath War Pigs question. And then round two seemed to be in his favor, but like Russell having the lead going into round two, he was able to have hair metal. And he did really good in that. Sandy just getting some unfortunate deep cuts in Van Halen. That last one especially was just an absolute doozy. And then round three, I think it was again just some bad luck. Russell pulling he pulled 80s for his 4-pointer. The 2-pointer, I forget what he pulled, but I know Sandy pulled Britney Spears for this 2-pointer. And then again, like the 6-pointer, he had he got a medal question, which I mean, when you miss the first one, I feel like that kind of lowers your confidence. But yeah, he got a 6-point medal question, and it was a Marilyn Manson question, something that he isn't really too familiar with. Malcolm, I want to go to you first on this. Your thoughts on the jukebox match, and how would you have fared out if you were playing along at all?
I probably would have just done as bad as Sandy did, because I mean I do not know metal at all, so I probably wouldn't have been able to fare well in hair metal or any kind of metal. But yeah, I mean, there's like with music, you never know what you can get. Because I mean, you can get a whole bunch of country questions. You can get like modern stuff as well, which can trip anyone up. So.
For sure. Harley, I want to go to you as somebody who has competed in the league and somehow has a win, and then you also have a match coming up this week against Jim Green. Your thoughts on the match, and where do Russell and Sandy go from here?
Unfortunately, once again, it's a match that I haven't been able to see. This has been one of the weeks where I've just been absolutely swamped with everything that I do on YouTube, and then everything in my real life. But it's just like another one of the Russell and Sandy, two of my very good friends on here. I've worked closely with them since is it July? Last July, I've been working with them in our incarnations of what we've done. But yeah, no, it's another match that I will watch. But it's just like because I'm just flat out really excited, and just hearing what you guys said they pulled and all that, I'm actually really, really intrigued. And of course, yeah, no, I can't wait to destroy Jim Green. Hopefully, we get a bunch of one-hit wonders.
For sure. That's going to be very interesting. Case, I know I'm not going to go to you because I know you haven't watched it because
Nope.
because unless it's an entirely EDM match, I know you wouldn't.
No, not. I'm sorry, not even then. I just
No?
I just don't have interest in music as much as you guys do, and I love that you guys have the passion. I just don't, and that's why I stay away from it. So.
Music to
That's why I
me,
go with podcast.
yeah. Music to me is what Star Wars is to you, and music to you is what Star Wars is to me. I just don't have a. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, let's get. There's something actually before. Normally at this point in time we go into Hollywood happenings, but this is a very special week for the Worldwide Movie Games family. As you guys might have heard throughout this week, and then a few weeks ago, we've had a couple losses in our family, being dog, man's best friend, Pat Campbell's dog, Kirk, unfortunately passed away this week. And then Sandy's dog, Daisy, unfortunately lost the battle. So we decided to actually. This is more so. This is really led by Chris Clark, and he needs he needs the credit here for getting this all together. So everybody at World Movie Games, take 3, Jukebox Trivia. We've all come together, and we have a 8-card, or I guess a 6-card match, or six matches, and then there's
a lot of live matches this weekend.
Yes, a lot of live matches. That is the big thing for you guys. We'll have six matches from Saturday to Sunday, and then there's going to be 2 special live Take 3 shows throughout the night. So let's kick things off. Saturday at 5 p.m. Eastern is going to be the Grand Admiral himself versus Mr. DVD, Mike Hanley. Case, let's go to you first. Why do you think you're going to beat Mr. DVD?
I don't even think I'm going to beat. If you saw the poll, I'm getting completely swept away. Everyone is voting for Mike Hanley with good reason. He knows movie trivia. I know geek trivia. I know it better than most people. Might even be better than everyone. We'll figure that out when that league starts. In terms of movie trivia, I know what I know, but I have so many gaps that I need to be lucky in this match if I would win it. Like round 1, I'll survive. Round 2 is really luck of the draw. That is like the big deciding factor, and then I don't really know what will happen in round 3. Look, of course, I'm going to go into this match as a cocky motherfucker as I always am, because that's how I am. That's how I've always been. I'm like, fuck you, Mike. You beat me once. It's not going to happen again. But we'll see tomorrow what happens. It's going to be fun either way.
Interesting for sure. Harley, I want to go to you next. You have. You've worked with Case, I guess, on a couple projects, and I guess Mike not so much. But who do you have here getting the W?
Well, considering that, unfortunately, Mike was one half of the people that knocked me out. Wait, am I still muted?
No,
you're good.
Oh, okay, no, because I had to go deal with the little guy, so I was just a little worried there. No, but it's like since Mike was one half of the team that knocked me out of the.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, true.
Trivia round 1. Unfortunately, even though I killed that match, Mike, I hope you go down, and I hope you go down hard. It's like I want you and Henry to lose in everything you guys do, and I'm not bitter. Okay, yeah, I'm bitter, but
yes, you are.
Case, destroy him, please destroy him.
We'll see.
All right, and Malcolm, my question to you. I mean, it's kind of been the consensus here is that that Mike is going to get the W. What does Case need to do? Does he need to study up movie release dates, IMDb, maybe venture into
release dates? I do know my release dates. Don't.
Everybody thinks they know movie release dates. That don't
No. I know that I know movie release dates. I usually do well in both Schmodown and other stuff whenever there's release dates. I usually do pretty well. So, yeah.
All right. So, Malcolm, what are Case's keys? What are Case's case to success?
Well, I mean, I would like if I hadn't seen the video Mike posted in the Worldwide Movie Games Network, I would have said have to study up on horror movies, but Mike's made sure that horror's not on the wheel this time. So
fuck horror anyway.
Yes.
So
fuck
yeah,
horror.
And I mean, I too have a bit of beef with Mike because, as you know, he used to be all in the same faction as together. Then, like him and Henry left to form the Clerks faction. So, I too am kind of hoping that Case wins as well.
Thank you.
Alrighty. We then move into 7 p.m. Eastern time, where we have the very anticipated debut of myself being in the jukebox ring for the first time, going up against Malcolm Goldie-Lay, Jim Green, and Matthew Rosa in a Weird Al Iron Man match. This is going to be very interesting. There are a couple of notable omissions from this match just due to scheduling concerns. Jeremy Adams, Jessica Morgan. When I had two creditors in mind, but just due to some unfortunate circumstances, they couldn't make it. But they were able to test the questions, and boy, I guess we're getting some doozies. Harley, your thoughts on Weird Al, and who do you have going into this?
Oh, without a doubt. A, I have you winning this, and B, it's Weird Al. I'm not the biggest fan of music. Like I said, I'll rather listen to an audiobook or a podcast over just the same song over and over again. Just because for me, music's a lot of repetition. But when it comes to Weird Al, I can put on Weird Al whenever and just start laughing or just enjoy the hell out of it. I love me some Weird Al, so I'm definitely looking forward to this match. And Brooklyn, I hope you kill it.
Thank you. That'll get you 2 bonus points in your match on Monday. Malcolm, you are one of my competitors in the match. What makes you think that you are going to beat to myself, Jim, and Matthew?
Yeah, well, I mean, don't know how I'm going to feel in this because the way Chris was hinting at the way the questions are going, I've got to really look at my deep cuts as well, which so I mean I've got a bit of time to study, but not a lot. So I mean, once I finish here, I'm going to be studying like mad. But yeah, I don't know if I'll win.
All right, now Case, the question that I have for you: name a Weird Al song.
Oh, come on.
Crap. I had it yesterday.
Come on.
I'm not American.
Star Wars Episode 1. Star Wars Episode 1 should help you out.
No, I know. There's he makes songs about he parodies songs. That's what I know, and I know that he did something on Jurassic Park. He did something on.
We can accept Jurassic Park. He does have a song called Jurassic Park.
See that? Okay, that is what I learned about let's say 30 hours ago. So yeah, that's all my knowledge from Weird Al. Yesterday I found out who he was and what he's been doing, and apparently it's very funny music that I should probably listen to. I just haven't because it's I've been also told it's very American, and
it's understandable.
Get to this part of
if I could recommend if I could recommend something, Malcolm, would you recommend them an album, or like what I was going to suggest is if you just go on to Spotify or whatever music player that you use, just go to Weird Al, type in polka, and put in and listen to every song that has polka in the title, because it's usually a medley of a bunch of hits that are just that are done in the style of polka, and it's fucking hilarious. Malcolm, what would you give him, an album, or what would you do?
I'll probably give him an album, because I mean, a lot of his classic songs that people know, like on the albums, like yes, a lot of people do know the poker stuff, but like songs like "Eat It," "Fat," "The Saga Begins" is ones that most people are probably going to be able to know straight off.
Oh, White and Nerdy, Amish Paradise, like oh my god.
I would probably, in terms of albums, I would give him either the first one, which is the self-titled one, which has the greatest Weird Al song ever. Another one, Rides the Bus, and then or I give him Apocalypse. There's a lot of great ones on there. Performed This Way.
Dirty Deeds Done with Sheep.
Yeah, or even you go Bad Hair Day with Gangsta's Paradise or Amish Paradise.
Yeah.
So then we move into at 9 p.m. Eastern on Saturday. We have the Full Metal Admin Civil War. I don't know a lot about this match personally, but I imagine it's just going to be the admins doing a regular match. Harley, I'm really sorry, but I have to give the edge here to Jeremy. I mean, guy.
I'm co-hosting it.
You're co-hosting.
Wait. I didn't know about that.
Well, I'm not in it. I'm not competing. I don't.
So Harley, who is all competing out of the admins?
I thought it was I thought for sure Chance, Alex, Sandy, and Jeremy. Probably Russell.
I give Jeremy the edge. I mean, the guy's an encyclopedia. Like he'll give you the answer, and then we'll explain. We'll talk about the answer. Case for the admins. Who do you give the edge to, and why?
Wait, you cut off for a second. What did you say?
Who do you give the edge to in the Full Metal admin match?
Well, I have to be impartial because I host this match, so that's going to be fun. At least that's what we discussed today. Harley is saying different things, so we'll have to figure that out. But anyway, I wrote the questions, a part of them with a couple of other people for this match, and I'm very much looking forward to how that goes. And is there anyone besides Jeremy who can win this match? Okay, Chance maybe. Chance and Jeremy, like Chance is our champ, and Jeremy is just really fucking good at everything considering trivia. So yeah, that's gonna be a fun match for sure. I do hope that Alex and Sandy also put up a little bit of a fight, because I do know like both Sandy and Alex can do some stuff. They definitely know their shit. It's just I don't know how they will fare against Chance and Jeremy. So we'll see.
Sure.
But I'm looking forward to it.
Malcolm, who do you give the edge to in the Full Metal match?
I think this is going to come down to Chance or Jeremy. Both of them are encyclopedias, and Chance isn't the champ in various places for no reason. Yeah,
for sure. And Harley, you've worked with these guys for months and months.
A year now. Dating back to the old Fan Reaction League. It will definitely come down to these three people: Chance, Alex, and Jeremy. If Alex can hit something that he's good in, he can take it. But unfortunately, just like even history, Alex, I love you, buddy. But history will go like Chance and Jeremy, but I'd go with Jeremy's usually unbeatable himself. Chance, on the other hand, he has to have an extremely off night to lose.
Yeah.
So I'd have to go with Chance on this one.
Interesting.
It's those three. If they weren't in the same match, all three would win, but they are, and unfortunately,
one has to win.
Chance, in my opinion.
So then we then go into 11 o'clock Eastern when we have the very special Take 3 Family Game Night. That believe that is going to be John Smith. He's going to be doing a drunk Dark Souls run, and I think he's donating $1 for every time. He's doing $1 for every time that he dies, and I guess he dies quite a bit in that game. Yeah. And then that actually also reminds me, I was asked to plug this. By the time while this video is going up, you will see the reaction for Take 3 for the live match today, Shire Wolves against Team Action. So be sure after you've watched this, after done here watching this video, first of all, how have you not watched Shire Wolves versus Team Action? And then second of all, please go watch that reaction. There are some huge moments that are dropped in that video. Then we move into Sunday. Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern. They're doing a live version of the Reactor Summit. That should be interesting considering that the week that we had in the Showdown, there's tons of stuff to talk about, speculations and whatnot. Then we get into let's see here. I think 6 p.m. Eastern.
Your team match.
6 p.m. Eastern. This is going to be no contest really. Spartacus versus Royal Flush. We've beaten them already. We've beaten them by TKO, and yet people still doubt us. Harley, I want to go to you first. Why is Royal Flush winning this match?
Let's see. It's way too cocky and Royal Flush. There's Royal Flush. So you got to flush them down the toilet. So let's go Smarticus. Let's go Jen and Jessica. You come on, girls. You got this.
And that is minus 10 points for your opening match jukebox. Malcolm.
So you lose.
Malcolm, who do you have and why?
Well, I mean, this is if I remember rightly, this is a rematch of the match that kind of got lost, isn't it?
Yes, This match got lost in the interwebs, and then we kind of, no one really called out each other. I think we just wanted a mutual agreement that this needs to happen again because I think it was a super entertaining match for the fans. But yeah, this is Royal Flush Spartacus 2.
Yeah, this is an interesting one because if it goes exactly the same way as it did last time, Royal Flush will probably get there. But as long as Jen and Jessica don't get numbers, then I'm going to go Jen and Jessica on this.
I find your lack of faith disturbing, Case. I'm going to give you now these two numbskulls over here. Still think that Smarticus, even though we've beaten them via TKO, they still think that Smarticus is going to beat us. Who do you got?
Yeah. Again, I have to be impartial because I'm hosting this, but I will say you and Ed had a great run in the tournament, and you actually showed that you know some stuff and that you can definitely take on Smarticus, and it probably won't be a pushover as some people are thinking. However, yes, this is Jess and Jen. We know them. They're really fucking good at trivia, except for numbers. And this time, there will not be 2 number categories. There's only the one that you guys chose. So only if only if you guys get to select their category in round 2, that round 2 will be a lot tougher for you guys and a lot easier for them, I think, compared to the last time. And I mean, IMDb is not really good for either of you because Jen has expressed her dislike of the IMDb round, and you guys have expressed your dislike of the IMDb round. So
we have between Ed and myself in singles and in teams. Well, mind you, in teams you've only had to answer 3, but we have yet to get an IMDb one correct.
Exactly, and while Jen doesn't like the IMDb round. I'm not really sure how Jess feels about it, but what I do know is that Jen is known to hit an IMDb question from time to time, and I do think that, as I said, if that round 2 doesn't end up with them getting numbers and you guys getting something that you guys are good at, then they will probably win that match. Even though I do think it should be a close match either way, because I do think you guys can. You guys can definitely compete in that match, but in the end, I gotta give it to Jen and just because of what they've already shown in these leagues. But I'm looking forward to it either way.
I mean, I'll bring up this stat because everybody's like, oh yes,
yes, you won, we got it. That's fun.
No. There's more than that. When you think about Royal Flush versus House of Night Fury in general, and this is like expanding above and beyond movie games. Royal Flush has beaten Smarticus in team match GTKO 1-0. In a league that no longer exists, Jess defeated myself and IG 1-1. I then defeat Jess in Movie Battleground 2-1.
Yeah, but it's a different league. That's not trivia.
I then defeat Nico in a wrestling debate, of all things, a wrestling debate. I defeated Nico in wrestling debate.
That's 3-1. Nico.
Yeah, it is.
Nico is a former wrestling champion. Anyways, again, 3 wins. 3 wins for Royal Flush, 1 win for House Night Fury. I believe the odds are in our favor here to win this.
Okay, but this is movie trivia, not wrestling trivia.
Wait. Can I interject for 1 second here?
Go on.
In the chat right now, we have the former president of the United States himself, Barack Obama.
Good to see.
With Smarticus. The former president is going with Smarticus.
Well, you know,
there you go.
What the shit?
Good to see. Good to see Barack in the chat. I'm sure things are windy in Chicago. We then move on to the next match. I believe it's 8 p.m. Eastern. Movie Battleground match where we have Henry versus Medea in an all-blind match, which should be very interesting.
All blind and all drunk.
All blind and all drunk? Alrighty, what I like. Alrighty, which is gonna be interesting. Okay, so I want to go to you first as somebody who's worked with Henry for pretty closely for the last couple of months.
For a couple of months now. Look, Henry, I've also experienced him drunk. You
and I both.
He and Medea already can talk the best when they are sober. If they're drunk, that's going to multiply 10 times at least, and it's going to be fucking hilarious. Especially if they have to blind do that match and just they get a question and they have to come up with something on the spot. They can't prep their stuff. They just have to think of something on the spot, get a few seconds to answer the question, and yeah, they're drunk. This is going to be fucking hilarious to watch. I just know it is. This is the one movie Battleground match that I'm actually going to watch because it's just going to be hilarious.
For sure. Malcolm, I want to go to you next as somebody who has competed in the leagues. Who do you give the edge to?
I'm going to give the edge to Henry on this because I haven't debated against him in an official match, but I know I've debated movies with him so many times that I've been on stream together. I know he can debate his way out of a paper bag if he had to as well. But I mean, the fact that it's blind, it could go in Medea's favour. He could pull out some surprise things to go up against what Henry picks.
Yeah. Harley, your thoughts on Henry versus Medea?
I'm sorry, who's Henry going up against?
Medea.
It doesn't matter because Henry, I hope you lose because you're another person I need vengeance against.
On the shit list.
So just like your former partner in Team Bromance, Mike, I hope you lose. I hope you get really drunk and don't even know what you're saying because, like, well, that's going to happen anyway because Henry drunk just makes sense. But whoever you're going up against, I hope well, no, I don't want to TKO. I want this to go to distance to prolong your pain of trying to debate movies completely hammered. So I hope it goes down to the distance and I lose, and I hope you lose by 1 point. So
Hey, we got a Wild Matt Beer joining the chat.
Oh, Wild Matt Beer joins.
Speaking of
Yep.
beer,
I wasn't planning on it, but it's been loose, I guess. So here I am.
All right.
Ooh.
So for me, I don't really know a whole lot about Medea, which is unfortunately I should kind of really do a little bit of research here. But Henry has what I like to call the mother-in-law effect, where he is just he is stubborn as a mule and can just hammer down on the same point time and time again, and he just won't shut up until it lands. Matt, as an admin and like one of the co-creators of Movie Battleground, what are your thoughts on this entire blind match? How will it affect the players as opposed to them usually getting the questions, having time to research?
All right, sorry, my connection's a little wacky. Can you say that one more time?
For sure. So the Battleground match is happening on Sunday as part of We Are the World, the charity event.
Yes.
Normally they get the questions ahead of time. They get a chance to do some research. They might even exchange answers to get the best debate. But they're going in entirely blind. Do you think this will improve the match, or will the match be a little bit quicker?
This will make the match one of the most entertaining matches we'll ever have on here, especially with Henry and Medea. I'm fighting for it to be drunk. I'm really trying. I guess it depends on Medea's end. I don't know much about the season. I guess they're in a fasting season. Maybe it's now, maybe it's later. If it's later, I'm going to really push for that drunk match. If it's now, we probably won't get it, but nonetheless, it's still going to be really entertaining.
Yeah, for sure. And then to close it out, the main event, I guess, as you could call it, is the debut of Full Metal Geek. I am not sure who is competing in this match, but I imagine there will be some titans of the inner geekdom world. Harley, do you have any inside scoops as to who's competing in that one?
I did because I think I was originally going to be in there, but like then unfortunately when it's scheduled, I have to leave for work about 40 minutes afterwards, so I just didn't have the time. So and I didn't really take too much time to look at who was in it. But either or, Sandy's on the Sandman's writing the questions. I'm kind of glad I'm not going to be in that match because, like, he can ask some really killer of deep questions. So, and like, I want to watch it, so I want to see how. But his questions are also good, but they're also very, very fair. As a lot of us have been in matches that he's written questions for. So,
yeah.
I'm just excited to see how it goes.
All right, Matt, since you just joined us, your thoughts on Full Metal Geek making its debut on Sunday night, and who are some people to look out for the upcoming season?
I mean, I'm really excited to see what this is going to bring. It's going to be something a little bit different, so we're going to really see who really knows their stuff with the geek stuff. Obviously, some people to look out for is like a Robert Parker. Yeah, that's all I can think of because he's probably going to go in and just take it out of anybody's arms. Wait, are you competing, Case? Oh, Case is okay. I honestly didn't know who was competing. Well,
I'm not competing on Sunday, but dude.
Okay. I didn't know if you were competing or not. I didn't know if you were going to do that. So, yeah, I'll throw Case in too because he knows Lord of the Rings, he knows Star Wars. Harry Potter, I think at least a good amount of too.
Whoa. Are you trying to tell me that the Grand Admiral, Case Cornelison, Star Wars?
I thought it was Star Trek at first, but
I could have sworn it was
stuff.
Star Trek. I mean, right behind him is the Wrath of Khan. The Wrath of Khan poster behind me, correct?
Exactly. That. Yeah.
Exactly.
Right there.
Yeah. I mean,
Right.
Star Trek totally out trumps Star Wars in terms of quality and quantity.
You shut your dirty mouth.
I will.
But by the way, there is an argument to be made there.
Okay.
So
I also
Kind of.
if anybody's watching previously, I think Star Trek is dumb and silly. Case, you have expressed interest in competing in the geek leagues. The question I have for you: why should people be on the lookout? Why should people be worried for you?
why should people be on the lookout for me? I think that if you go back to like reactions on Take 3, me reacting to like the Inner Geekdom matches that they have on the Schmodown, I usually did best out of the entire panel. And I was in a Harry Potter Iron Man match recently. I was second. I think I missed like 3 out of 30 questions in that entire match. I was only second to Robert in that match. With Star Wars, like,
Yeah.
dude, I'm not even going to explain that one. Middle Earth is also a passion of mine. Like, I've seen the Lord of the Rings trilogy way more times than I can possibly count, and I've also seen the Hobbit trilogy, as not good as they are. I've seen them,
Right.
and I know them, and other than that, of course, like, everyone knows MCU. I think that's really like a category that I don't know anyone who competes in a geek league that doesn't know MCU.
Actually, there's somebody.
But anyway, and then you have DC movies. I watch them all the time, and I've seen all the Star Trek movies. That's probably like my weakest category, but I've seen all the Star Trek movies. I'm working on that, watching the Next Generation TV show. So I watch all this stuff all the time. It's all I do. It's like my life. Watching DC, Marvel, Star Wars, Star Trek, everything geek related. I just watch it, and I keep watching it because that's my trivia knowledge. Like, this is the reason that I'm not that good at regular movie trivia, because I keep focusing on movies that I like, and those are the geek movies. So yeah, Robert Parker, you're really good. You're really probably my closest competitor in that league, but I'm gonna fucking beat your ass if I finally get to you. So that's what's going on.
Okay, so I think you should probably have to be fearful of chance also. Chance is also key in
Nah.
Okay. Okay.
Alrighty, so that takes us out of A Week in the World. Be sure, once again, guys, check out the all the matches that are happening this weekend. Things kick off Saturday night at 5 p.m. Eastern, and then Sunday they kick off at 4. But it should be an interesting one, and it's all for a good cause. I believe anybody that's donated is going to a charity that helps with rescue dogs. They help take dogs out of some bad owners and then puts them into good living homes. So be sure to check out. I've committed to every wrong answer that I have in the Weird Al match. I'll donate $1. So hopefully I don't have to donate too much. Yeah, that could get expensive depending on how deep.
That could get very expensive for you.
Could get very expensive. But yeah, let's get into Hollywood happenings. This is kind of the second part of the show. We kind of go over movie news that's happened throughout the week. I have a little bit of some notes here. But if you, the cool kids in the chat, if you have anything that you want us to talk about in terms of movie news, be sure to write it down, and we'll get to it if we can. This week is really just a whole lot of trailers. We got trailers for Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, Lego Movie 2. We got one for Halloween, A Star is Born, Wreck-It Ralph Breaks the Internet. We also got a huge trailer for that. Also, like Malcolm mentioned to us earlier before the show started, the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood cast got dropped, and that's super stacked. Great ensemble. So I want to go to Matt first. Of the huge trailers that dropped this weekend, or is there any other big movie news that you want to talk about?
I guess we can kick off with trailers. Let's start with the Halloween trailer. Have you all seen the Halloween trailer yet?
I did actually, yeah.
Okay, yes, because this really feels like original Halloween. I was very happy with it. Of course, I love that they're retconning all the horrible movies. There's a couple Halloween movies that are fine, but that was probably my favorite trailer, which really surprised me because A Star is Born is great too.
I think Halloween H2O is a fine, even a good film.
It's not bad.
I mean, it's better than Halloween 2. Malcolm,
Shut your dirty mouth.
Malcolm,
We'll
your thoughts
about
on
that
the
later.
yeah, we'll have to. Malcolm,
Definitely.
your thoughts on the trailers this week? What was the big one for you?
For me, the big trailer is probably Lego Movie 2, the second part. I was a big fan of the Lego movies, Lego Batman and all that, and just see this trailer taking a new turn, whether the Mad Max inspired world, whether it's a whole entire world that they're building in, if it's going to be Brooksburg after everything has been sort of demolished. I don't know. I do kind of wish they went with the second piece as a subtitle for the sequel and not second part, but yeah.
Yeah. Case, your thoughts on the trailers and the big ones that have dropped this week? What was the one that tickled your fancy?
Well, I will be very short with this. I was too busy this week with other stuff, so I haven't seen any. So
okay, all right. Harley, what was your favorite trailer that dropped this week?
Oh my God! Is there any question? Any question at all? Anyone that knows me, the first 2 seconds of this when this trailer started, I was emotionally invested, and I just like going, "Oh, Scott, like, oh, so cute." The Winnie the Pooh, Christopher Robin. I saw that trailer and every second. Oh my God! As someone who's a massive Winnie the Pooh, and Winnie the Pooh has meant so much to me, especially when I was a child and everything. This movie just looks absolutely phenomenal for me. Like, just I'm going. It may be a bad movie, but I I'm going to have tunnel vision, and I won't see the badness of it. I'm just going to be completely in love with it. But also How to Train Your Dragon 2, or sorry, How to Train Your Dragon 3.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I know. I know people will say Toy Story is probably like the best trilogy. I love Toy Story.
Animated trilogy.
I think Toy Story may be a little highly rated for my opinion. Like How to Train Your Dragon is like so. The first two movies are better than the first two Toy Story movies. Uh, I just think those two movies are fantastic, and the third one, I like where they're going. I want to see where they're going, and I want to see the world continue on. Like I've seen the stuff on Netflix, like the TV show that was on Netflix there.
Right.
I just really like these dragons and Hiccup and Toothless and all of them. And also, Wreck-It Ralph. There's a lot of potential with there. It's easy. It's going to be easy for them to make it good. Kind of probably hard to make it really bad. So, there's a lot of positivity for there. And of course, Bumblebee. Like,
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that movie was a surprise. Like, as someone who's kind of been John Roca, except for not as like bragging, like, but I've seen them like a little bit of a
Right.
guilty pleasure. But this the last one. Well, Age of Extinction, when the Dinobots were only in for 5 minutes, pissed me off. But then the last one, all throughout that one, I was just like absolutely furious, giving up. But Bumblebee made me excited and want to care about the Transformers thing. So we'll see where that goes. I think that's about it.
All right.
Yeah.
Some some trailers I'm surprised that we can talk about. Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse. I think what they've shown has some great potential. You got to see Spider-Gwen at the very end of it. I think you see a glimpse of Spider-Man 2099 throughout there. It's kind of what I like about Spider-Man is that he has so many different interpretations. And if anybody played Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions, you got to see a couple of those different forms.
Yeah.
A Star is Born, even though I haven't seen a trailer, I like the concept that they're going with. Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga, I think they're making her movie debut, which should be super interesting from what I've been able to hear.
Oh wait, no. My bad.
From what I've heard from like Jeremy, it seems super heartfelt and super sad. And then the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood cast, it's such a stacked cast they have so far, with likes of Leonardo DiCaprio, Margot Robbie is in there, regular quick Tarantino guys like Michael Madsen, Tim Roth, Al Pacino I think just got announced today. Luke Perry is in there as well. And then not so much in terms of movie news, but just something I wanted to kind of touch on because he is a massive entertainer, and more so in my neck of the woods in terms of food, but has a very prominent TV career and is definitely a pop culture icon. Anthony Bourdain passed away this morning at the age of 61. The guy has traveled around the world, definitely a student of food for sure. His book, Kitchen Confidential, has done great. And his show, Kitchen Uncovered, travels the world, venturing, does all kinds of things. But yeah, definitely one that'll be sorely missed. Well, we had a wild Chris Clark appear, and then we pressed the old run button. I'm sure he will be hopping in here momentarily, but how fitting of him to join in as we get into our next topic of subject. As you guys probably saw in the thumbnail, we're going to be talking about Pokemon today. I figured this is kind of fitting with the reveal, and there it is. A wild Chris Clark has appeared.
There he is.
Hey guys,
in his shiny form of the white T-shirt. He's all yours. Go get him cased.
Awesome. What are we discussing, my bros?
We are just getting on to the Pokemans.
Awesome. Cool.
So, with the reveal of Pokemon Go and Pokemon Go Eevee, before we even get, because I asked our panelists today to talk about to do a top 5 Pokemon list. I want to talk about what Pokemon Go has done for the gaming community and for the community in general. When Pokemon Go itself got announced, or when it was launched 2 years ago, I believe. In the positive way. I know here at PEI, I can't count on my hands how many times I was talking to gamers who were like, "Yeah, I walked 10K. I walked 10K today just so I could get these Pokemon and level them up and whatnot." It's insane what they've been able to do, and I think they'll be able to replicate that with Pokemon Go, Pikachu and Eevee, with the interconnectability and really the demand that people have been looking for with the Nintendo Switch compatibility and just adding some different gadgets. But what do you guys think, Chris? Since you just hopped on the panel, what do you think Pokemon Go Pikachu will do for the community?
Well, look, with Pokemon Go, back in, I think, July of last year, last summer, was all Pokemon Go, all it brought people together, it brought generations together that did not necessarily think that, Pokemon is kind of cliche. Nowadays, people kind of see Pokemon as a kid's game. Well, they used to, but then Pokemon Go kind of reinvigorated the whole nostalgia craze. And I think with the Pikachu game, they're aiming towards the consumer. They're not aiming towards the hardcore breeder or whatever with IVs and EVs. They're aiming for the consumer. And I think this is smart because Pokemon at its core is a children's game, and it's fun for nostalgic 90s kids to play it, and it's great. And I think it aims at that and does the job that it needs to do. And I think Pokemon Go Pikachu is gonna reinvigorate that, because when it all boils down to it, this whole Pokemon craze is still nostalgia, and nostalgia is really prevalent in this culture today. So it means a lot.
Yeah. Harley, I want to go to you next. I know you are a self-proclaimed massive Pokemon fan. So did you play Pokemon Go at all? And what did it mean for you?
Of course I did. And as someone when the Pokemon anime hit the States in North America, Ash Ketchum was 10 years old. I was also 10 years old in '98 when it happened. So yeah, no, I've always had the envision of heading out there, training, catching, battling, other
That's more.
trying to have my own adventure, like that. Ever since it really happened, it's been, and Pokemon Go, it helped bring that closer. Granted, yeah, the battling system wasn't the best. It was a little weird, but it was still fun. You were able to go out there, catch your own Pokemon, even though sometimes it could be extremely hard because like you do the ball a little, you throw the Pokeball a little weird, you're screwed. And then the gym battles, you work hard, take over a gym. 5 minutes later, the person comes back and just destroys you with a higher Pokemon. And that humiliation right there, how awesome is that? And also just like Pokemon's awesome. Like, and it just, but unfortunately, except for a lot of the current stuff where it's harder and harder to come up with new ideas for Pokemon and characters. You get a double scoped ice cream cone. That's a Pokemon.
Yeah.
But it's just like, I'm really excited for this. I love Pokemon. Pokemon's always been a part of my childhood ever since it came around. So.
Well, on that note, though, like back in Generation 1, there was a Pokemon that was literally just a Pokeball with a face. So I mean, with every generation, there are Pokemon that are kind of lazy. But
I'll even one up you in Gen 1. They had 2 Pokemon that were literally just piles of goo in Grimer and Muck.
Yeah,
like how inventive do you have to be there? Case, I want to go to
toxic goo.
Yeah. Case, I want to go to you next as the resident European on the stream. Did Pokemon Go have the same effect in your neck of the woods, or was it? Yeah.
Oh no, it did, and I avoided it like the plague. I just knew that I just knew that if I would try to get into it, that my phone would be like draining. The battery would be drained every single day. It would break down within months because I would just be playing it nonstop. Because I know myself, like I get addicted to those kinds of games, and I just decided not to do anything with it. But like I had friends who were playing it like crazy, and I was like, no, I'm just not going to. But Pokemon has been. Pokemon was a huge thing, of course, when I grew up. Everyone watched it. Everyone collected the cards and whatnot. And now Pokemon Go just brought it back. I don't know how, but for some reason it was a huge hit, and everyone is interested in Pokemon again. And now we're having these movies that I really don't think the movies that they're doing are going to be any good, but they're making them because they can.
Haters gonna hate.
I'm intrigued.
Malcolm, your thoughts on the whole Pokemon surge?
Yeah, I mean, I still play it. I mean, I know a lot of my friends who started playing Pokemon Go and kind of dropped off after the first few months when it just stayed with Generation 1 Pokemon for a good part of it. So, but I mean, I'm continuing playing, and also because of Pokemon Go, there's a new game that actually came out. I don't know, a wee while ago now, but based on Jurassic Park, where you actually catch dinosaurs as well. So I mean, it's definitely sporting a whole lot of other pop culture versions of the same game.
Yeah, with the augmented reality right there.
Yeah.
For sure. Max, anything to add on the Pokemon? Were you a big fan growing up?
I was a big fan for about a year, and then I kind of moved on to other things. So I about got as far in the games as Pokemon Yellow or whatever it was. But and I played Pokemon Go for a little bit, but I mean that's just because everybody was playing it, and then after a while, it's like, oh, they removed the footsteps. I'm not gonna play this anymore. I don't know, feed my dog. So
yeah, that was a big negative when they got rid of that.
So now we will get into the moment that I think I'm kind of curious as to what everybody has for a list. I think everybody, with the exception of Matt, has a list of the top 5 Pokemans. So how it's going to work, guys, is we're going to go through. Each of us will do our 5s, and then we'll do our 4s, our 3s, our 2s, our 1s. How we did it last time, if there was a space in between Pokemon, we just called that a punt. But then once we got to round 2, or once we got to the second round, if it was your 1, we talk about it then right there. Case, we'll start with you first, and I'm gonna go grab a drink real quick. So, Case, you're number 5 and why?
Okay, well, my number 5, I only stuck to the original 150 Pokemon because those are the only Pokemon that I consider canon. I never considered any of the other Pokemon after that canon because just after the first 2 seasons, one or 2 seasons, the magic just kind of went away of Pokemon. I really loved that first season. I used to watch that and rewatch it when there was a rerun. So I'm basing this also off the fact that we are following these characters. Now I do have to admit this is a Pokemon that only got better in later seasons, but I did follow that, and that's Snorlax. Snorlax
he's adorable.
I think a very underrated Pokemon because when we first meet him, he's just this big, gigantic Pokemon that sleeps and eats all the time. But that's Ash's Snorlax. Then at one point we actually meet a Snorlax that is not like that, and then also Ash goes to train his one. In a way that Snorlax is actually a really fucking powerful Pokemon that nobody expected to be that good, and that made him all the more interesting, and I really like that.
That's the sumo wrestler episode, right? That's the sumo episode or something where he's like a bodybuilder. That was fun.
I haven't seen it for so long, but
but I know what you're talking
about. You could be right. But the thing is that at first it was it starts off funny, then it becomes a little bit boring. But if you see where they go with the character, and if you see what it eventually becomes and how powerful he really is, I was like, that's really cool. I never expected it to be that cool. So yeah, that's why I have Snorlax as my number 5. I don't know if anyone else has it though.
Yeah. Interesting. I'm gonna go next for my number 4 or for number 5. We'll change the order here a little bit. So I'm similar with Case, but I didn't go anything past Gen 3. That's when I kind of stopped. I played a little bit of Diamond and Pearl, but that's when I kind of stopped playing Pokemon. So my number 5, and purely for the reason because this Pokemon is OG in a certain game called Pokemon Duel, which is a mobile game, great turn-based strategy, which has like a wheel and it has like a checkers or chess kind of feel. Which is Deoxys.
Ooh. The Deoxys is the legendary of the 3rd generation. Deoxys like 3 forms, right? They're really cool.
4: speed, attack, defense, and then just the normal form. But I have specifically the speed. It just looks super cool, like really fluid. Just using the 2 colors. But yeah, in Pokemon Duel, it was a super overpowered character because when it entered the field, normally most characters had like 1 to 3 moves. It had 4 moves right out of the gate. So as long as you played smart, you could get a win within like 3 moves, and it was great. But yeah, I assume no one else has it on their list. We will go to Chris next. We have for your number 5.
Well, my number 5 is, I'm bringing it up right now. Okay, so actually with the same thing with you, Brooklyn, I chose Generation 3. I actually went up to Generation 4 for me because Generation 4 is actually, not Pokemon-wise, but game-wise, is my favorite generation because that's where you have the remakes of Heart Gold and Soul Silver and Pearl and Diamond. So Generation 4 I love, but for number 5 is actually a Generation 3 Pokemon, and that's Wailord. This big guy is super, super adorable like Snorlax, but he's basically the Snorlax of Generation 3. If you watched our Pokemon playthrough, me and Kristen love Wailord so much, and we have this thing where it's a clause that if we find a Wailord, we catch it. And Harley soon is going to be joining us on that adventure too, and on Family Game Night soon. So it's really fun, and I just love Wailord, and he's adorable as fuck. So I have Wailord at number 5.
Awesome. Harley, we will go to you next. You're number 5.
Let's just go for shits and giggles. My number 5, because I was just quickly putting this list together at this moment too, but just because Magneton. What's better than you got one magnet? What's better than that? 3 magnets.
Interesting.
Magneton. Yeah, no, that's my throwaway number 5.
Magneton. It's always fun.
And I do have a list too. It's just gonna be super generic.
Oh, okay, sure.
Yeah, it's super generic.
All right, Matt, you're number 5.
Oh, well, here we go. All right, so like I said, I only played for about a year, and then I got back into it for a little bit with Pokemon Go. I went to the movie theater and saw, I think it was Pokemon 2000, while my brother was being born, so I have this weird connection in some way, shape, or form. So my number 5 is Bulbasaur. I love Bulbasaur. He's cool. He's underrated. He's an underrated dude. Yeah. He evolves to some really cool things.
The grass starters get a lot of shit.
Rightfully so.
But they're actually useful.
Yeah.
So.
Interesting. Yeah. All right, Malcolm, you're number 5.
Yeah, I mean, for my list, like I did play a few of the games and love them, but I'm basing mine for how much I love their personalities in the actual show as well, kind of to change things up. And my number 5 is actually Togepi. It's just one of those ones which I never expected to love, but it's just his personality in the show is, and the fact that he's so strong for his metronome attack, you never know what he's going to come up with, what attack's going to be used. So it's just a fun, cute little wee thing there.
And they teased it pretty well. I believe it was in the first season of the Pokemon anime, where it was just the egg, and then at the end they hatch it, and then I think it was like, I remember getting the Indigo Pokedex, like the big book or whatever, and then I think it was like the last page they had Togepi on there, but then when you got the Johto Pokedex, it was actually like in a mix of things. All right. So we go now to Case. You're number 4.
My number 4, also, okay. This is also a powerful Pokemon, and this is definitely not as jokey as Snorlax. And once again, I do base this off the character grew on me in the show. It's Gengar. Ultimate.
That is a punt. That is a punt.
That is a punt. Okay.
So that's a punt. That's a punt. Yeah, we're going to talk about it later. Yeah, actually, technically, Snorlax is a punt for me too, but I let you go on because what you were saying was. But you know what? Yeah, so it's a punt for me too. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry for going on a Snorlax.
No, it's all good. That's all good. That's fine. I let you go. It's fine.
Yeah. All right, so now we get into my number 4. And my number 4 was actually the first Pokemon to appear in the Pokemon anime, and that is Ho-Oh.
Oh yeah.
That was the guy in the sky, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Super.
He was the first one to appear in the anime.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Ho-Oh flies by.
Legendary to appear.
That was at the end of the episode.
Yeah.
I thought it was at the start.
No,
it's at the very end.
The first one was Gengar and Nidorino. Because they were playing the clip from the Pokemon match.
Okay. Yeah. Ho-Oh, super colorful. I was debating between Lugia and Ho-Oh, but I found more interesting in terms of like, especially the Gale of Darkness game, where they venture into like dark Pokemon and like just kind of switching that out. Ho-Oh, I feel, is just kind of super powerful and has like kind of has a mix of everything in terms of like psychic, fire, and like flying, and this looks super cool. Chris, we now go to your number 4.
My number 4 is actually when I mentioned that Generation 4 was my favorite Pokemon generation for games. Generation 4 has the only Generation 4 Pokemon in my count. I don't know if anybody has anything later to Generation 4 in their list. This might be the only Generation post 3 in anybody's list, but I have Abomasnow, which is essentially the Pokemon version of the Abominable Snow Monster. He's so cool looking. He looks like this giant tree covered in snow, and he looks like a giant ape. He looks like the Abominable Snow Monster from Rudolph. And he's cool looking as fuck. So I have Abomasnow at my number 4 slot.
He does look vicious as fuck. I was really close to having Infernape in terms of just Gen 4 Pokemon.
He's cool, yeah.
But I picked another of the starters to be on my list. Harley, your number 4.
My number 4. It's gonna be probably one that's unexpected, but in all honesty, how can you really not have this Pokemon in your top 5 list? Ditto. Power to transform into anything and take over the move set.
That is cool. Yeah,
that is
great. Ditto's great in game. Ditto.
Oh, Ditto. Oh, right.
You know Ditto. He's the pink little blob thing.
I know. Yeah, I know. There's an entire episode about it.
Yeah.
Okay, no, I'll be right back. But Ditto's my number 4.
Nice.
All right, Matt, your number 4.
All right, guys, here we go. This is one you guys probably have never heard of. Squirtle. That's my number 4. Squirtle. I like him. He's super useful. He's cute. He's cuddly. I want to hold him at night when I have a bad day at work and just like hug him, and then all my sadness will go away. It'll just be happiness.
Also,
and he's very useful.
The Squirtle gang episode where they have the glasses.
Yeah.
Some of the badass looking Pokemon ever. Malcolm, your number 4.
My number 4, and talking about grass Pokemon which get a lot of shit, I've got Chikorita. Chikorita is one of those ones that, once again, in the anime, it had a lot of personality, and it's the way the personality just came out in the show. It really summed it up, and it was amazing. Just one of those ones that I really liked.
Yeah. Anything? I guess we'll ask you this since you're kind of watching it. Anything going on in the chat? Any Pokemon that people are mentioning? Any lists that are?
Nope. Hasn't been anything in the chat. Jonathan Peak just said that he's back. So.
All right. Well, Jonathan, good to see that you're back. And anybody, if you are watching this video right now, get in the chat. There's some great conversations to be had here with the Pokemans. But now we go on to number 3s. Case, your number 3.
I only listed this because this Pokemon had a really good episode or couple of episodes, and there was a big setup for it, and it was a really fucking powerful, cool Pokemon, and it's Articuno. And I don't exactly
Articuno was super close to being on my list because it's my favorite of the legendary. I'm team Mystic. I was always team Articuno. But yeah, go on. Talk about Articuno.
I love the power. I love the power that he had, and I love the setup to it because there were a couple of episodes where you got a really little hint to what they were going for, and then at one point you have the payoff to it, which I thought was a really good payoff and was very mystical, magical kind of stuff, which was really cool to get into. And just a really cool Pokemon.
All right, interesting for sure. So then we go to my number 3, and mine I kind of limited to like what I picked. So I made sure that I picked like a legendary bird, a starter, and then a pseudo legendary. So now we go into my pseudo legendary that I picked, and I picked the lovable Dragonite.
Punt. Oh no, wait, that's not.
Well, is it a punt? Nope. Okay. Nope. No punts.
It's just one higher for me.
Just one higher. Okay, so it's number 2. So let's talk about it.
Yeah,
Dragonite's a badass. Like it's so plushy and cutie, but it's such a powerful one. Especially when you think about that, it evolves from like Dratini and then Dragonair, and then it's just like poof.
Yeah, all the appearances of this are very deceiving because they the face is really cute and just very loving, but the moment that it blasts something, it's like fuck. That's
also a very powerful Pokemon in Pokemon Duel, and I think before. I think back at the day, whenever they were doing the competitive battles, with just a few gens, I think Dragonite was a pretty common regular for people's 6. But now we go to Chris. You're number 3.
I'm wondering if this is a punt because I know you punted it from Case. My number 3 is Gengar.
Gengar is my number 2.
So do you want to talk about it now?
Yeah, we'll talk about it now.
Okay, cool. Well, for me, Gengar is the quintessential ghost Pokemon. If you think about Gengar, he's probably one of the most popular Pokemon ever. I would think that's objective. He's a fat purple guy with a spiky hair, and everybody loves him. Everybody loves his face, and he's very marketable. And I mean, Gengar. I grew up with Gengar. He has his episode in the anime with that tower is one of the classic episodes of the entire series. Oh, yeah, right before they go to Sabrina. So I feel like Gengar is just one of the most memorable Pokemon, one of the best designed Pokemon, one of the Pokemon that sticks in your brain that's not Pikachu. And I love Gengar to death. There's nothing more to say. Gengar is the best ghost in fiction. I like Gengar a lot.
I'm a huge fan of that entire evolutionary theory. Haunter, Ghastly, Haunter, and Gengar. I'm not a huge fan of the way the Mega Evolution looks. I think it's fine.
Yeah. Look. I feel like the thing with Pokemon is that after that, the 3 classic ghost Pokemon, I don't think any ghost Pokemon that they created since has been as good.
Drifloon would be the only one that I would argue. I feel like Drifloon is okay.
Him and maybe Dusclops, but yeah, other than that, they really dropped the ball on the ghosts.
Yeah. Case.
Yeah. No. As you guys said, he's a very big Pokemon since the very beginning, and I just loved his relation with Ash at one point because there was a very good relation between the two. You see how he, it's Haunter, and then you have Ghastly Haunter. I don't really remember. I don't really think if Ash ever had Ghastly. I think it was Haunter.
Haunter's the one that followed into Sabrina.
Haunter,
So he is Haunter, and then that evolves into Gengar, and then from then on, that relation is just great to follow, and has a lot of really good episodes, as you mentioned. I don't remember exactly what the episode was about, but I do remember that I enjoyed it, and that's why I picked him.
It was like a 3-part series about them going to Sabrina, failing, and then getting them to help them out or something. I think
there was also a little bit where they went to the ancient ruins and these fossils or Gengar and a giant Alakazam were trapped.
And they had the markings on them, right? Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. It was that series is great.
Oh yeah.
For sure. Harley, your number 3.
My number 3, just another side note when it comes to Gengar. Gengar was the second Pokemon shown in the anime because it started off with Nidorino doing the hopping back and forth.
It did.
So then number 2, he's the number 2 in the series. But my number 3, I'd probably you can't. Ever since the first movie came out, I've been in love with this character, Mew.
Aww.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was tempted to put either Mew on my list. I didn't.
It's the
Like,
fetus
Yeah, that's actually my
Pokemon.
number
So cute.
3.
yeah.
Oh,
so-
then talk about it, Matt.
Yeah, that's my number 3. No, I like him. I've always liked him. He's from the movie, right? The little
Yeah,
The first
Yeah.
movie, one of the
tiny guy.
best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, good. I was thinking right. Yeah. I've always liked him. He seemed really cool. He's real
yeah.
cute. I wouldn't mind having him on my shoulder. Just going to Walmart. Like we have people at my Walmart that have like monkeys on their shoulder. That like to run around on their shoulder stuff. I would like to have Mew on my shoulder. Just
And
Chilling.
how like the
Yeah.
like the first
and he's
official
super powerful.
the first official glitched Pokemon from the game the video game the Game Boy
Right.
Yeah.
and just like it's always so hard. You've always heard about the elusive way to catch him, whether it be by the truck by the St. Anne or by the area by the Pokemon League after you face your rival. It's just like I've always loved Mew. Mew's one of my favorite, definitely one of my favorite Pokemon.
Interesting. All right, Malcolm, you're number 3.
Well, my number 3 is actually related. I've got Mewtwo as my number 3.
Interesting.
It's the first real big. Well, it's the first big movie villain that they had. I guess you could call him that, even though he kind of became good at.
No, but he's the villain. He's the antagonist.
He's the villain. I don't think he became good. He just left with all the.
Well, I
coins
was
and-
meaning
yeah.
maybe I think in the Mewtwo back or something. I think he came back to
Strikes
be on
Back was
Ash's
the
side.
movie. It was
That's where I was going for that. But it was just one of those ones which, like, he was the first Pokemon villain that they kind of introduced in the movies. In the movies. But yeah,
What's great about Mewtwo is
I think they introduced him in the show.
they introduced him in the
They
show
did.
in one episode with Giovanni with the thing with the suit, but also
But
Mewtwo's
the
the only
entire
Pokemon.
arm, yeah.
You guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Mewtwo's the only Pokemon that has killed people in the anime because he blow up that
Yeah.
entire base with everybody in it.
You still
Yeah.
the video game and all that.
Yeah.
Sinbar Island.
Right, and he's actually my number 2. So this is
Wow.
going great.
Perfect. That's
yeah.
great.
Yeah, I've always liked him too. I love like the more villains. I like a good villain, and in the movie that I saw, and then also anything I see him in, he's always been a real cool villain. So there's that. Also super powerful. Didn't he have something to do with? We thought Ash was dead, and then he came back alive.
The
He
Pokemon,
had, Ash died in the movie. Yeah.
because
Okay, yeah, because he.
you and Mewtwo were attacking each other, and
Right.
he tried to get in the middle of it, and basically he got turned to stone. But then the Pokemon Tears revived him.
Yeah, I mean that Mewtwo was responsible for my first childhood cry.
Yeah, I was in the theater for that, and I bawled my eyes
Oh.
off when it happened.
I still cry at that scene. I have
Oh, yeah.
no. I'm not afraid to say that.
Okay.
You're sad. You got Pikachu trying to sock him. You got Misty going,
Ah.
oh God, no. Oh, and it's just like, oh my God, it's sad, one of the saddest moments.
Oh, movie again. It's fucking was good.
Mm-hmm.
It was.
It was great.
Between
Awesome.
that one and Pokemon 2000, like even as we were talking about it, I'm replaying this new Pokemon 2000 where they go after the orbs and then the battle of the legendary birds.
Guys, hold it. The best part about the first Pokemon movie is not the movie; it's Pikachu's vacation.
Oh yeah, hey you.
Great.
All right, so now we go into our number 2s. Case, kick it off.
We already talked about mine. It's Dragonite.
Cool.
I think
we talked about
I
that
think
number
we
2.
have. I really think we all have the same number 1, but
No,
I'm
I
not sure.
almost
I don't
guarantee-
think we do. I can
Okay.
Chris,
guarantee
did,
no.
We don't.
Chris, did we go through your number 2?
We did not go to my number 2.
All
Well,
right.
actually, we technically did, but I decided not to pun it because I wanted
Oh,
because
Snorlax.
Case was talking about it. But it's Snorlax. Snorlax
Yay.
is, especially if you play the game, is one of the most memorable things in the game. He's blocking a path, and you have to get the Poke Food in this whole. There's two of them. But Snorlax aside, he's also in like four of the best anime episodes. There's the one where he's blocking the river passage with the in a drop because the Snorlax is clogging the water. There's also the one on the Grapefruit Islands in season 2, I think, where he's eating all of the Grapefruit Island grapefruits and he's adorable as fuck, and that's where Ash catches him. There's the stuff that Case was mentioning, I think the 2-part episode where he's in like the sumo wrestling thing and he comes in for Ash and everything. So Snorlax in general is just, I think Snorlax also like Gengar, especially in the 90s. My top 3 favorite Pokemon are nostalgic for me because in the 90s, they were on every piece of merchandise. Oh, yeah. If you were to go into Toys R Us, you would see pillows of Gengar, you would see pillows of Snorlax, you would see keychains of them. They were the most marketable Pokemon, and from my childhood, those are the Pokemon that stuck in my head. And Snorlax, you can bring Snorlax to somebody who's not a Pokemon fan, and they would know who Snorlax is. Snorlax is, I think, up there with Pikachu, even more so than Gengar, that Snorlax is so iconic to the Pokemon franchise that you could he's just an icon, and Snorlax is cute, he's adorable, and he's fat, and he's cuddly, and I love him so much. So yeah, that's Snorlax.
Cool. Harley, we now go to your number 2.
My number 2. Okay, so this is a toss-up between, how do I order up my number 1 and my number 2? I think I'm going to have to just because I have to put him number 1. But my number 2 is, well, no, I'm not.
As a child.
Say this joke answer is Arceus, but it's actually Pikachu.
Oh, that's
my number 1.
That's my number 1.
See, we have the same number 1.
Are you guys serious? Pikachu is
Really?
number 1? That's
number 2. Number 2 for me.
Damn, guys, he's disappointing.
No, Pikachu. Like, it's Pikachu. As you guys said, it's a punt for you guys. So
it's not even on my list.
It's not on mine.
No.
Oh God. So wait, Pikachu's number 1 for who? There's Case and there's Malcolm, right?
And me.
And Matt. So everybody but me and Brooklyn have Pikachu on their list.
Yes.
So
you
Matt,
guys have the most generic white bread list of all time.
Here's the thing. How can you not have Pikachu? He was the character. He was literally the only Pokemon that Ash could choose in that first. And if you've seen the journey from that very fucking first episode throughout the entire show, it's like, have you even seen it?
Well, no, Pikachu as a character is the most well-developed Pokemon, but I mean, if you're thinking about my favorite Pokemon, he's not up there with that.
He's not.
Show-wise, yeah, he would be the best Pokemon objectively, and there wouldn't be any contest.
I mean, I would even go. I'd pick Raichu before I pick Pichu. I think Raichu is a super Pokemon.
That hurts.
I think
Pikachu is a version of Pikachu.
Yeah. Well, yes.
So we've already talked about Matt's number 2. Malcolm, what is your number 2?
My number 2 is Charizard.
Wow, I'm surprised that didn't pop up.
I thought about it.
And this is for one of the main reasons is that in the show is like he's pretty much the teenage Groot of Pokemon. Whenever he evolved in the show, is like he was so impetuous and so disrespectful to Ash and would barely do what he wanted to do until after a while, in which I can't quite remember how Charizard sort of came.
I know this off by heart. Charizard got in one of the Orange Island battles. He got frozen, frozen solid
by Poliwrath. Yeah, and that's where.
And Ash stood by him for like a day or two and just like trying to melt the ice, keep him warm, keep the flame on his tail. And Charizard finally realized this guy really cares about me, and I'm going to feel the same way. That was another really, really emotional moment for myself watching the anime.
That was good. And that was actually the transition episode into Generation 2. Yep. That was a goodie. I would think that's the finale of the first 2 seasons. Yeah.
Oh, I forget what it's called now. The episode.
What is? I don't remember what the episode's called, but it was a goodie. Yeah.
Charizard Chills.
Charizard Chills. That's it. Yeah.
Yes. All right, so before we get to everybody else to number one, I think we'll to Chris and I's break first.
Yeah.
We'll see. Mine is if you've been paying attention to how I describe my list, I haven't talked about my starter Pokemon. And my starter Pokemon is my number one. I usually pick water for everyone, unless the Pokemon are shit. Cough Totodile, Cough the Seal Pokemon. I didn't think was that great. Blastoise is my number one Pokemon.
Wow, that's good. That's a goodie.
Yeah, love Blastoise. Super OP. Whenever I played the Pokemon trading, whenever I played the Pokemon trading card game, which I've actually I got into kind of late. My brother and I would play matches for like hours upon hours. I got a Mega Blastoise card, but I couldn't use it because I didn't have an EX. So I stupidly traded it away for just some random shit. And I kind of wish that I had it because it's super cool and I love its Mega form. Some argue that Cloyster is the better one, is a better water Pokemon in terms of stats in the Gen 1, but also looks super cool. But yeah, Blastoise for me just looks like the ultimate tank in Pokemon. Chris,
it really does look like a tank, yeah.
Yeah. Chris, your number one Pokemon and why?
Oh, I'm actually curious before I go into this. Besides Pikachu and Jigglypuff, and besides Snorlax, as I said, back in the late 90s, what Pokemon did you see everywhere on every piece of merchandise?
Charmander?
No, and it's not a starter.
Nidoking?
Oh, no. You'll know it when I say it. Okay, so you're saying that Squirtle was your starter. Blastoise is my favorite starter, but I never started with Blastoise because my favorite Pokemon is a water Pokemon from Generation 1. And I think it's better than Cloyster because it evolves into something that's part fighting type. My favorite water Pokemon and my favorite Pokemon in general is Poliwhirl. Poliwhirl was on everything. Everything back in the late 90s. He was on everything. He was even on Time Magazine. He was the center Pokemon when they were talking about Pokemon. And you know what? Poliwhirl is just so fun. He's basically this frog Pokemon with a giant swirl on the center. You know who Poliwhirl is. Everybody who knows who Poliwhirl is.
Yeah.
And you know what? He's adorable, and I loved his design. That first and foremost. But going into playing the game, I had to pick. I felt like having a fighting Pokemon part water in Generation 1 was overpowered because there was no fighting counter in Generation 1. So Poliwrath could run the course on everything, and it could run the course on stuff like Chansey and Snorlax, which were power hitters back in the day. So you know what? Poliwhirl, I stand as the most nostalgic Pokemon for me and the one that I love the most. So Poliwhirl it is.
Interesting for sure.
Yeah.
Now let's get into it. All right, guys. Everybody else.
I don't think we've done Harley's number one, have we?
No, how is everyone?
Harley's Pikachu. Yep.
Pikachu.
No. What's his number two?
Sorry, Harley. You're number one.
Yeah.
Oh.
Number one.
Oh.
Another one that it comes to imitating for me. The one that I'm not embarrassed to do this out in public. I've always loved Charmander. Charmander's without a doubt my favorite. The adorableness of it. In all honesty, you can power him up, and like the fire ability, like flamethrower, fire spin, all that stuff. I've always loved Charmander. Charmander is just my go-to. Except for of course Pokemon Yellow, because like you gotta have Pikachu following you, which is awesome. I love that about that game so much. But Charmander's always like, no matter every time I replay the Pokemon games, the older, like the original, like the first ones. Charmander's always my first, and Charmander's always my go-to whenever I play a Pokemon game.
Interesting. I definitely hear you there. I feel like everybody and their fucking mother chooses Charmander in the start, unless you are just like replaying through the game. It's like, oh, let's see how he started out as Bulbasaur, or how he started out as Squirtle. But now we get to the inevitable, guys. Why is Pikachu on your list?
Look, here's the thing.
Why is
I always
Pikachu
have a
not on
personal
your
connection.
list? Is the question.
I feel
Alright,
like I
okay,
can relate
so-
to Pikachu.
Okay. Do this, and then I have an idea because I think we have a little bit of time after this. But yeah. Okay, so Matt, go.
Okay. So when I look at characters and stuff, I got to relate to them personally. I got to feel like I could be them in that world. Pikachu, I can be. I'm nice. I'm awesome. I'll follow you around, but if you piss me off, I'm going to shock you and kill you. It's about as simple as that. So, I mean, he's super relatable. He's nice. He's always going to be with you. He has the most development as well. I like that. I just don't want one that's like, you know, hey, look, I'm just this thing. I say 1 or 2 words and I fight. That's it. I want to feel connected. And even in the games, I feel connected to Pikachu. So that's my number 1. It's super generic. It's the white bread answer, but it's the truth.
Interesting, to say the least. Malcolm, anything to add on the Pika Pika?
Yeah, I mean, for me, with the way I was doing my list, and Chris sort of touched on this a little bit when he's the most well-developed character in the anime. Is like his personality arcs quite a bit, and like he's had a lot of moments in which, a lot of times when Pikachu's been near death, it's hit me emotional as like, and he is the one that you see quite a lot in when everyone talks about Pokemon. He's just sort of the mascot of the show, so to speak, and that's not the reason I picked him. As he's just I've always resonated with him myself, just like what Matt was saying.
Yeah. Case, what is it about the? What is it about Pikachu?
Clark Leafs. Okay. Yeah. Look, as I said, I based this list a lot off of the actual character development that we see of these Pokemon in the show. From the first episode, Pikachu just has character. Like, in the first episode, he's actually quite stubborn, and he doesn't really like Ash. And then they go through, they get attacked, and Pikachu gets hurt, and he sees that Ash is caring for him. A little bit like what you said about how Charizard suddenly got to care about Ash. That just happened way too late in the show. This happens in the first episode, and a lot of the early episodes are Pikachu set. We really see how Ash and Pikachu grow as a team and how they get challenged. Like Pikachu actually meets a lot of other Pikachu and Pichu, and Pikachu suddenly has a choice of leaving. My audio is weird.
You do have a nice. You have a
Well,
nice.
You have Darth Vader right now.
You have a you have a beautiful baritone.
It's really throwing me off.
Sound like slow. You're trying to speak in like deep slow mo.
It sounds very smooth though. Like you could definitely seduce me.
Right, it's
I've
like the
never seen
movie
that happen
phone people when you call.
I've never seen that happen before.
Yeah.
I hope that happens during the live stuff this week.
Okay. Case, now your mic is muted.
Move on from him, and then we'll go back to him.
All right, cool. Okay, so we have a little bit of time, and I was kind of curious about this because I feel like we have some passionate Pokemon people here. So I want to get I want to do like a quick just a little debate, a quick little speedrun debate, and I think our two most passionate Pokemon people here are Chris and Harley. So you two are going to debate on a question that I already have right now. Matt, Case, and Malcolm are going to judge based on the debate, and we're going to do it speedrun style. So, Matt, correct me if I'm wrong here. It goes 15, and then does it go 15-15 or 20-10?
Are you on movie battleground rules?
Just like a quick little speedrun. I'm curious to see the answers that come up in this one question.
What was the question? Sorry.
I'll announce it here in a second. We'll do it speedrun style.
So let's just do 2010.
2010. Okay.
Yeah, it makes it go by faster.
I'm back. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yes. You now sound normal.
So, Case, what we're going to do here, right quick, we're going to do a little speed round. Harley and Chris are definitely our two most passionate Pokemon players. So I have a question for them. They're going to do it speed round style, and then based on the arguments, you, Malcolm, and Matt are going to judge as to who gave the better debate and who is and what is the correct answer to this question. So, again, whoever says it first gets to go first, and if it's said at the same time, we'll do the same thing, but you can't say that Pokemon. So, the question that I have for you, Harley and Chris. Who is the worst Pokemon out of Gen 1?
All right.
Say it.
The worst Pokemon in Gen 1 would have to be... This is actually really difficult because there's a couple really bad ones, but it's not Magikarp. It's not... Who would be the worst? Oh, okay. Articuno.
What?
Yep.
And Case has just lost his mind. All right. Congratulations, Chris. You have successfully made a judge walk off.
I'm out.
It's like they say, the more judges you make leave, the more likely you're going to win.
All right, Harley, since you said Magikarp first.
What was his response? I had a technical issue there.
Articuno.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Harley, what's yours?
Magikarp.
Okay,
all right,
Harley,
so,
you win. Congratulations.
I got it. I know how to defend this, and I know how to win this.
Go ahead.
All right, Harley, so you have 30 seconds. Time begins whenever you start speaking.
Okay. Magikarp. We're talking about Magikarp alone, not Gyarados. Magikarp alone. Magikarp, all he can do is flail and splash, which accomplishes nothing. Articuno is a freaking legendary. Just one thing, frozen, boom. Magikarp, all it can do is fail and flap. You can't even eat it. It doesn't taste good, as we've seen in the anime. There's no point of it until it evolves. But we're talking about Magikarp alone, not Gyarados.
Mm-hmm.
Magikarp.
Time. That's it. Time. All right, Chris. Time starts today. We start talking.
Magikarp, you cannot count Gyarados because he said specifically the worst Pokemon. And part of the Pokemon and how you play the Pokemon game is you have to evolve them. And Gyarados is a proven kick-ass Pokemon. So Magikarp, you have to level it up, but those EVs and IVs stack up and will give you a more powerful Gyarados to beat people. The thing is with Articuno, it is an ice flying type, which means it's 4 times weak to rock, and it's 4 times weak to thunder. And those are electric and rock are 2 very common in the meta of Pokemon attacks and physical abilities that will actually and especially stealth rock that would destroy Articuno.
Alrighty, 15-second rebuttals. Harley, you go first whenever you start talking.
Okay, Chris, you want to talk about how Magikarp evolves in Gyarados. We're specifically questioning. The question was the worst Pokemon in Gen 1. Magikarp. Magikarp can't do shit. You can't eat it or anything. Articuno will destroy Magikarp. Gyarados, no count.
Time. Perfect. Excellent. Efficient debating. Chris, 15 seconds. Time whenever you start talking.
The point of Pokemon and the actual game itself is to evolve your Pokemon. And by this logic, you could say that Poliwag, or by this logic, Oddish could be the worst Pokemon. That's because their defenses are supposed to be that way because it's designed in the actual Pokemon game to be that way. They are designed to be evolved.
Time. That is time. Excellent debate, guys. We had some great competitors here in our very mini speed round. Matt, I want to go to you as the one admin on Movie Battleground. Who gave the better arguments here?
This was closer than I thought it would be just because of the options given. But Harley kept nailing the fact that we're talking about a certain Pokemon. Like if, maybe if there's more impact onto that aspect, I would give it to Chris. but I'll go Harley. But I mean, it was gonna be really hard for Chris to kind of top Harley, and he did a good job, I thought, for what he was given.
All right, Case. I'm going to go to you
Shows that,
next.
like, Simon
based
thing.
on Case, based on the arguments
Based on the
provided.
argument, yes. Chris, you could have won this. You really could have, because what Harley said is that the only thing that Magikarp does is just say his name and flail. That's not entirely true.
He does
you
not
could
tackle at a certain level.
That's
does.
the thing.
Yeah.
But you didn't bring that up. I only needed to
I
hear
know.
that from you. And I was waiting to hear that in your rebuttal, but you
I
didn't
thought it
bring
was.
it up.
I thought the argument was. I know I'm going against Articuno versus fucking Magikarp, but you know what?
That's your issue. Like you actually really made a case for why Articuno is not that
He's
good,
terrible.
and why and like how Magikarp. Yes, it is Gyarados, but Harley really nailed the point. Magikarp is not Gyarados. Magikarp is Magikarp, and he's fucking useless. And you didn't give any rebuttal to why Magikarp is not completely useless. That's why. Previously to the fight, I would just instantly give it to Harley, and after the fight, I would barely still give it to Harley. I'm sorry.
It's all good.
All right.
No, I mean, I understand that.
Harley does get the W, but Malcolm, how would you have voted?
I actually thought that Chris had it because Harley was banging on the fact about the fact that all Magikarp does, but and his only defense he gave to say why Articuno isn't the worst is because that is alleged was his only sort of defense for it. And I mean, I thought Chris put up a good argument for why he thought Articuno was the worst Pokemon.
I named his Ice Beam, and I named Ice Beam for sure. Like Ice Beam alone would destroy Magikarp.
That's true, but Magikarp also was
Yeah,
designed as a Pokemon. Oh yeah.
We're done with the debate.
I feel like in an alternate world or like later down the road, if the movie Battleground kids ever get bored, this is like a one-off like Pokemon debate. But that concludes our time. I think we're just over the 2-hour mark. This has been a great time. It was sort of impromptu, but it was a great time. We got to chat about one of the movie games. We got to chat about the charity match, charity event that's happening this weekend. Movies and of course the great wonderful Pokemans. I want to thank our panel for coming on today. Starting to my furthest left, the Cobblepot Commander, Chris Clark. Where can the cool kids of the world find you?
Well, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at ChrisClark8788. Those numbers mean nothing. You can also find me on YouTube at No Man's Land Entertainment every Wednesday, hosting Suddenly Soundtracks. And also make sure to check this Saturday. We on the Schmodown Rundown tomorrow. We did an interview. I just got back from it with Christian Harloff himself. It is a great interview. You do not want to miss it on SK Plus and the Collider Factory feed. And make sure this marathon this weekend is for a great cause. And be sure to watch it. It's going to be an amazing time.
Interesting for sure. To the fellow Canadian Harley Borg, where can the cool kids of the world find you?
Of course, you can find me anywhere, everywhere. Tomorrow night on Family Game Night, I'll be destroying Evan DeGraff and Mario Superstar Baseball. Finally get to actually take part in that on the stream. I've been practicing. I've been working. Peach is going to destroy everyone. My girl Peach, come on. And, of course, Full Metal Media, Worldwide Movie Games, all that stuff, like Full Metal Media. I'm the editor. I do the YouTube channel there. And Worldwide Movie Games. I'm always looking to help out. I did my first judging of movie Battleground match. Please don't hate me too much when you watch that. My first time, which it was fun, but I was nervous as hell. But also, of course, Multiplex Entertainment, where me and Nico run the sports and wrestling division there, and go join up there and support them. We have a great community here. Support each other. Trust me, as someone who this community, it really does mean a lot. One big family. That's all. I think that'll be just absolutely fantastic.
I will echo the statements of Harley. This is a great and phenomenal community. Definitely, there have been times where like every one of us maybe we had a bad day, things were going the greatest, but it is friends like these that have lifted our spirits, and I believe that's what we'll be doing this weekend. But now we gotta go over to Matt. Matt, where can the cool kids do well find you?
You can find me on this channel whenever I get on here, hopefully tomorrow. Also, we're doing the charity event. You'll see me on there, which is going to be a really fun time, I think. For sure, the lights are going down and people are yelling at me. But you can find me doing the charity event, of course, and on the Worldwide Movie Games channel and with Movie Battleground, and hopefully my personal channel soon.
Cool. To our producers, the man behind the scenes, Malcolm Gaudier, where can the cool kids do well find it?
You can find me beating Brooklyn at Red L Trivia tomorrow.
Fake news.
And you can also find me doing various things on Take 3 and on my own personal YouTube channel, Malcolm's Mid-Earth Media, and competing in trivia all over the place.
Alrighty, and to the Grand Admiral making his Take 3 return, Case Cornelius, where can the cool kids do well find you?
Well, you can find me host There Will Be Trivia, and tomorrow compete in There Will Be Trivia against this loser, this old guy, Mr. VHS or DVD. I don't care anymore. Mike Hanley, you're going down tomorrow. It's going to be fun. And you can also find me on Twitter at Dutch Movie Guy and on YouTube, The Dutch Movie Guy, if you want to check out what I do in my personal life besides this YouTube channel.
All right, and last but not least, I'm Black Under Brooklyn Vale. You can find me on Instagram at BrooklynB.10. You can check me out at Jukebox Trivia. Every Monday we go live. You can also find me right here on Take 3, where we're doing this podcast. Usually Friday nights, and then Saturday nights I'm usually on Family Game nights, but John Smith is doing the drunk run of Dark Souls, and I believe he's donating $1 for every time he dies, which I hear is quite a bit. You can also find me getting not 1 but 2 wins this weekend. I will not destroy. I cannot guarantee that, but I will get the W somehow against Malcolm, Jim, and Matthew in the Weird Al Iron Man match, and then the day after, the numbers will be in our favor. The numbers are already in our favor. Royal Flush will defeat Smarticus. Everybody and their mothers thinks Smarticus is going to beat us.
Even Barack Obama.
The letters TKO. That is how our first match has happened. I cannot guarantee TKO, but we will be getting the W. For the panel today, for Chris, Harley, Matt, Malcolm, and Case, I am the Buckeye to Brooklyn Vale. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe on Take 3. Join Take 3 Facebook page. Join World of Movie Games. Join Jukebox. Join everything. Support the community. We grow as one, and this is a super community to join in. If you're a fan of trivia, by all means, hop in. Cheers, guys, and as always, drive safely.
Cool.
And keep